Think about your wooden deck or outdoor furniture for a moment. Does this frustrating cycle sound familiar? When you first bought or built it, the wood grain was crisp and the color was incredibly warm and inviting. But after just one short summer, the surface started turning a dull, lifeless gray. Add in a few heavy rainstorms where the water seeped in, causing the wood to swell, followed by the baking sun evaporating that moisture and forcing the wood to rapidly shrink. After a few cycles of this aggressive expansion and contraction, hairline cracks appear. Given enough time, the wood actually begins to turn black and rot from the inside out. It creaks when you walk on it, and you're terrified to step outside barefoot for fear of getting a nasty splinter. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Min. Every day, I'm here exposing the everyday secrets they don't want you to know. To fix this, most people do the exact same thing. They drive to the local big box home improvement store and stand blankly in front of a massive wall of wood stains and sealers. The shelves are packed with products boasting irresistible promises: maximum waterproofing, UV blocking, one coat application, the weekend warrior solution. Hooked by the marketing, you drop $100 or $200 on a few massive buckets of synthetic wood sealer or polyurethane. You sacrifice your entire weekend, rally the family, strap on face masks to tolerate the toxic chemical stench, is less than #0. One hash is greater than, and brush the deck until it gleams. You wipe your brow, feeling like you've finally solved the problem once and for all. But the honeymoon phase never lasts. Have you ever noticed that these so-called quick fix sealers rarely survive past year 2 or 3? What's worse is how they fail. They don't just gracefully fade away, they begin to flake and peel off in massive, ugly sheets. It's exactly as if you shrink-wrapped your wood in a cheap plastic film. Once a tiny tear forms in that film, rainwater sneaks through the crack. Even worse, that plastic barrier traps the moisture inside with no way to escape, aggressively accelerating the rotting process from the inside out. By the time you are forced to recoat the deck, the real nightmare begins. Because the old, flaky coating looks like a diseased patchwork quilt, you can't just paint over it. You are forced to rent a heavy-duty floor sander or buy highly toxic chemical strippers to painstakingly scrape away every last inch of that stubborn plastic film. If you hire a professional crew to do this prep work, you're easily looking at a bill for several $1,000s. I used to be trapped in this exact, exhausting sand stain peel sand death loop just to save a few bucks. I was ready to pull my hair out. That is, until a lifelong old-school woodworker asked me a simple question: why do you insist on forcing a suffocating plastic raincoat onto your wood instead of just feeding it natural oils? That single sentence completely rewired my brain. Wood is a living, breathing material, full of natural, microscopic pores. Our goal shouldn't be to suffocate and seal it. Our goal is to keep the water out while allowing the wood to breathe. And that is exactly why I am sharing the secret of Pure Tung Oil with you today. It's not a magic instant cure potion. It requires effort, and most importantly, patience to let it cure. But if you take the time to learn how it works, the protection it offers is vastly superior, infinitely more durable than any film-building synthetic finish, and best of all, routine maintenance only costs a couple of bucks a pop. To understand why Pure Tung Oil is the holy grail of wood care, we need to take a quick look at the current state of the wood finish market. Today, the global wood coatings market is a $12 billion behemoth, heavily dominated by synthetic materials like polyurethanes and alkyd resins. Why are these synthetics the mainstream standard? Simple, they dry incredibly fast, they are idiot-proof to apply, and they are dirt cheap to mass produce. Before the 1930s, natural drying oils were the gold standard. But as the modern chemical industry boomed, society prioritized speed. Everyone wants to stain their deck today and host a barbecue on it tomorrow. In the rush for instant gratification, Pure Tung Oil was buried and forgotten. However, that obsession with speed sacrifices the long-term health of your wood. As I mentioned, synthetic sealers are film-building finishes. They act like a rigid, tightly woven plastic wrap sitting strictly on top of the wood. When the wood naturally expands and contracts due to seasonal temperature and humidity changes, this rigid plastic film simply lacks the elasticity to move with it. Over time, under relentless UV bombardment, the coating turns brittle and develops microcracks. Water enters, the bond breaks, and the finish peels. That is the ultimate fatal flaw of synthetic coatings. The protection logic of Pure Tung Oil is entirely different. Tung oil is a traditional natural drying oil extracted from the seeds of the tung tree. Centuries ago, ancient Chinese shipwrights discovered that this specific oil didn't just repel water, it actively protected wooden hulls in the most brutal, corrosive saltwater environments on Earth. So, what is the scientific magic behind Pure Tung Oil? Research shows it contains exceptionally high concentrations of alpha-eleostearic acid, a highly unique polyunsaturated fatty acid. This specific carbon chain molecular structure gives Tung Oil its superpower, deep penetration and oxidative polymerization. When you apply pure Tung Oil to wood, it doesn't just lazily sit on the surface like a synthetic paint. It behaves like water hitting a dry sponge, aggressively wicking deep down into the cellular fibers of the wood. It travels through the wood's natural grain and microscopic vascular tubes, penetrating millimeters beneath the surface. Once this deeply embedded oil is exposed to the air, oxygen triggers a chain reaction called polymerization. The liquid oil molecules literally link hands, forming a massive, three-dimensional molecular web. It transforms from a liquid into a tough, transparent, highly elastic natural polymer. Do you see the massive difference here? A synthetic sealer is a fragile shell floating on top. Pure Tung Oil is a molecular shield fused right into the core of the wood. Because it hardens inside the wood, it will never ever peel, flake, or chip because there is no surface film to peel off. Even better, this polymerized web is fiercely hydrophobic. Rainwater simply cannot penetrate the oily barrier. It beads up instantly and rolls right off. Simultaneously, at a microscopic level, this web doesn't clog the wood's pores. It remains vapor permeable, meaning the wood can still breathe. Liquid water can get in, but if there is any trapped ambient moisture inside the lumber, it can easily evaporate out as a gas. This fundamentally eliminates the greenhouse effect that causes wood to rot and warp from the inside. Zero peeling, extreme waterproofing, breathable, and elastic enough to move with the wood, this is the scientific truth of why Pure Tung Oil is the ultimate wood protector. It's not a secret recipe. It's nature's most robust, time-tested line of defense. Before you grab your keys and race to the hardware store, hit the brakes! The retail market for Tung Oil is full of deceptive traps, and if you aren't careful, you will buy the exact wrong thing. You must buy 100% Pure Tung Oil. If you browse the aisles or search online, you will see dozens of cans screaming Tung Oil Finish or Tung Oil Blend in massive letters. Do not buy these. This is the industry's most notorious marketing loophole. A product labeled Tung Oil Finish might contain less than 5% actual tung oil. What's the other 95%? It's usually cheap petroleum solvents, heavy metal chemical dryers, and the exact same alkyd resins and varnishes we are trying to avoid. While these blends dry fast, they are essentially just thinned down varnishes that will build a plastic film and inevitably peel. You must seek out the real, unadulterated, chemical-free raw material. The label must explicitly state 100% pure tung oil. The easiest way to verify this is to flip the can around and read the ingredients list. It should list exactly one thing: pure tung oil. If you see a paragraph of unpronounceable chemical names or the word varnish, put it right back on the shelf. In the United States, true 100% pure tung oil is easily found through specialty woodworking websites and high-end suppliers, typically ranging from $20 to $40 a quart. Don't let the price tag scare you. It goes an incredibly long way, and the decades of protection it offers make it a phenomenal investment. The gear you need: because Pure Tung Oil is incredibly thick and viscous, it struggles to penetrate deep into the wood on its own. You must thin it with a safe solvent. To keep this project 100% natural, eco-friendly, and non-toxic, I highly recommend buying pure citrus solvent or high-grade natural pine turpentine. Citrus solvent smells amazing and makes working in your backyard an absolute joy. For application, grab a high-quality natural bristle brush, or just cut up an old, clean, lint-free, 100% cotton t-shirt into rags. You'll also need a few mixing buckets and stir sticks. The hardcore safety warning: listen to me carefully. DIY is great for saving money, but safety is non-negotiable. Pure Tung Oil and natural solvents carry a severe, specific safety hazard if mishandled. Cotton rags soaked in tung oil and solvent can spontaneously combust and catch fire as the oil oxidizes. When you are done using your rags, you absolutely cannot crumple them up and throw them in the trash. You must hang them flat outside on a fence, or lay them completely flat on a concrete driveway until they are stiff and rock-hard dry before disposing of them safely. Also, always do a spot test. If you are working with woods rich in natural oils, or if the wood has been previously treated, test a small hidden corner first to ensure the oil absorbs properly and you like the final color. The foolproof application process. Step 1. Aggressive surface prep. Your finish will only ever be as good as your prep work. The wood must be bone dry, spotless, and entirely free of any previous coatings. If it's an old deck, scrub it aggressively to remove mold and grime. If there is an old synthetic stain or varnish on it, I'm sorry, but you have no choice. You must sand it down completely to bare, raw wood. If there is a microscopic film left on the wood, the oil cannot penetrate. Vacuum up the dust, wipe it down, and wait for at least 48 hours of clear, sunny weather to ensure the core of the wood is totally dry. Step 2. The deep penetration coat. This is the most critical step. Our goal is to force the oil as deep into the wood as physically possible. In a well-ventilated area, mix 50% pure tung oil with 50% citrus solvent. Stir it thoroughly. Using your brush or rag, flood the wood surface heavily and evenly, following the grain. The dry wood will greedily drink the oil like a sponge. Here is the most important rule of the entire process. Let the wood absorb the oil for 15 to 30 minutes. Then, take a clean, dry cotton rag and aggressively wipe off all excess oil that hasn't absorbed. Tung oil cannot be allowed to pool on the surface. If it does, it will cure into a sticky, frosted, gooey mess that never fully dries. Once wiped clean, walk away and let it sit for 24 to 48 hours so the oil can begin oxidizing inside the wood. Step 3. The Protection Builder Coat. The deepest pores are now full. Now, we build the mid-level defense. Adjust your mix to 70% pure tung oil and 30% solvent. Flood the surface again. Wait 15 to 30 minutes. And once again, wipe off all the excess. The surface should feel slightly moisturized, never wet or greasy. Let it cure for another 24 to 48 hours. Step 4. The final shield. The wood's interior should be mostly saturated now. This final pass builds the ultimate exterior polymer shield. Use 100% undiluted pure tung oil. Because the wood is full, absorption will be very slow. Let it sit for just 10 to 15 minutes. For the final time, grab a clean rag and rigorously wipe the surface completely dry. Buff it until you see a rich, natural satin sheen, but feel absolutely zero liquid oil. The price of protection, patience. Now begins the waiting game. Synthetic sealers sell you speed, they cure fast, fail fast, and force you back to the store. Pure tung oil demands patience. While the surface might feel dry to the touch, the internal chemical polymerization has only just begun. It takes approximately 30 days for pure tung oil to fully cure, achieve its maximum hardness, and deliver its peak waterproofing capabilities. During this 30-day window, the polymer web is slowly solidifying. You can walk on it lightly with bare feet or socks, but do not drag heavy patio furniture across it and strictly prevent standing puddles of water. A light rain is fine, but sweep off any pooled water immediately. If you can survive that 30-day wait, you will be rewarded with years of bulletproof protection. The treated wood will take on an incredibly warm honey amber glow that perfectly highlights the natural grain, making the wood look vibrant and alive. While pure tung oil is legendary, it isn't immortal. Depending on your local climate, UV intensity, and foot traffic, it will eventually wear down. But here's the beautiful part. Maintenance is a breeze. You will never have to rent a sander or scrape peeling plastic film again. When the deck starts losing its water-beating ability or looks a bit dull, simply wash it, let it dry, and quickly wipe on a thin, diluted refresher coat of tung oil. It's as fast and easy as polishing a pair of leather shoes. If you are exhausted by the endless, soul-crushing cycle of sanding, stripping, and restaining every 2 years, step away from the synthetics. Try feeding your wood the way nature intended, and make your deck maintenance nightmares a thing of the past.